right, game right. And, Denver played fantastic. They played great, and they're a very good team. Their record is not even close to indicative as to how good they are. They've lost a lot of close games, which sometimes that happens, during the season. And so, we've gone in the last 8 years now, 5 years at Colorado State, we played them every year. And we played Air Force and just teams that run Princeton. One year at Colorado State, we played 7 teams that ran the Princeton offense. And so our formula has been great. I think in the last 7 or 8 years, including the Denver win at their place, our teams are, I believe, 22-3. And so, actually, I take that back. It doesn't matter, 7 years. And but we have a good formula. I think we know how to have a chance to have success against them. But you got to want to play against it. Like you have to have the mindset like you're dying to go against it. If you are like, oh gosh, here we go. I hate going against this stuff. If you have that kind of mentality, that's what happens. If you have the mentality like I'm going to take on the challenge, like taking an exam in a hard class, if you're just dreading it, you're probably not going to do very well. If you dig in and say, I'm going to go kick that, thing's butt, you're probably going to have a chance. And our mind wasn't right. Our practice was very average. Yesterday, I didn't think our scout team gave a great look, which is hard because it's hard to replicate that stuff. But we just got comfortable, and sometimes we don't handle prosperity great. Now, that being said, I thought Denver played great. I mean, Olsen hit every shot in sight that first half. And it was just like, I started thinking like that's as good as performances we've seen in a long time. But then I just thought back to our last loss at North Dakota State with Lawrence Alexander, and it was about the same, And then they had a couple other guys step up that usually don't score it. Cam Delaney, number 2 for them. I believe he had one three, maybe 2 threes all year, goes 2 for 3. And when that starts happening, you get momentum. Our start to the game was horrific. They start out 10 for 11 from the field, up 24-7. Certainly we have an advantage inside, throwing it inside to James and Austin, who didn't play, and even Erob to some extent, Burnett to some extent. But when you can't guard their stuff, and if you can't guard their 5, you're going to have a hard time all night. And so we went small ball, and obviously we made a big run and had some chances, and we're only down 7 at halftime, which was a minor miracle. And but then the way we started Norris just because it's play small, and the first 3 possessions defensively just kind of summed it up. They run the shot clock down. Trey Norris goes flying at Delaney, flies right by him like he was Brett Olsen, and now he's got a standstill, wide open shot, nobody around. He drills it, and then the next possession they do the same thing. They run it down to 2. And Griffin has the ball, just the same spot Delaney did the possession before, and he just throws a little shot fake up. Trey Burnett comes flying at him, and I'm not sure that Griffin has made, 5 threes all year. He goes flying by him, and he just drives right to the rim. We foul. And then like 2 possessions later, Olsen's right in front of Jeremy Kudera on the left wing, and Casey closes out with his hands down, and he just jays him up, and the guy's on fire, And so we got to be a lot better than that, or those results are going to happen. Any questions?
How can you turn the table now and just be ready for Saturday against the Jacks and not think about this?
Yeah, I mean, you got to learn from it. We'll learn a lot watching film tomorrow. How undisciplined we were and lack of mindset and just everything. But I mean, if you can't, after an embarrassing loss like that in front of your home crowd, if you can't, show up ready to compete, then, I'm not sure you have a competitive spirit, along with the fact that you're playing South Dakota State.
Pretty low shooting percentage tonight. Was it, were you just cold, or were you not getting the quality looks you were hoping to?
All of the above. Certainly we missed a lot of point-blank shots, I thought, around the rim. I would love to see how many shots within 3 feet that we missed. The one possession in the first half, Tyler and Burnett, they had to miss 4 or 5 on that one possession. There was a bunch of them. But, it's tough like, when you're playing, and it's a conscious decision. When you're down 24-7 and you're playing your traditional big guys, you know, now you pull them out and you play essentially Burnett as your 5-man. I mean, those guys don't. It's kind of loose, right? You're giving your guys a lot of freedom to go play, and like it was great for us there, right? I mean, so they were probably a little more prepared for it. But like at their place, we had 27 free throws, and tonight we have 14. And so, like we weren't. I didn't think. You know, we didn't do a great job of slipping screens. We didn't do a good job of curling screens. And against the matchup zone, pipe cuts. And we had a lot of open guys, and we wouldn't hit them. And then we start getting a little happy where we think we got to do it and play 1-on-5 instead of playing as a team. And we're a good offensive team when we pass the ball. And I felt like tonight we got really sticky with it, you know, at times trying to over dribble and, you know, not being in attack mode that way. And we go 2 for 15 from the 3. And so, you know, when our team goes 2 for 15 from the 3, we're going to struggle. One thing, and it's we've talked about it before on post game. Our team and a lot of teams, and this drives me insane to say this because it's not what we want our program to be. But a lot of times when we struggle on offense, then we struggle on defense. And then when we play well on offense, we play a lot better on defense. And I've been on teams that are like that, and I think a lot of teams are like that. But that's not how it should be. If your program is where it needs to be at a championship level, those teams aren't like that.
Anything specific that you're concerned about with SDSU? Obviously, it's a good team, and you got a lot going on there. But what are some things that make them a distinctive? You know, why do they win the games they win?
Well, they're well, and I don't mean to sound like a cliche, but I think they're well coached, and I think they have really good players, and so that's a good combination. I mean, they have. I mean, realistically, they're probably going to have 3, and you could maybe argue 4 guys like on the Summit League All-League team. You know, I mean, every time you look at their box score, I mean, it's just their starting 5 are getting. They're all getting double digits points almost every night. I mean, it's 11. They're great balance. So, first of all, they're very underrated defensively. Their numbers are very good defensively. 2, they can score every way. I mean, Larson can really, really score it. And then you have, I mean, what's his name, the freshman? Can really stretch you out, and he's just a baller. You know what I mean? Like, he was playing really well going into our game. Now, that was a while ago. So I haven't quite followed their stats and where they're at. But he's just a really good player, knows how to play. Biddle's a tough, I mean, getting ready for Oral Roberts, I mean, that kid just willed them to that win down there when they won by 4. He's an Oklahoma kid, but that guy eats nails for breakfast. I mean, he doesn't care, you know. And then the 2 guards, Parks and Marshall, like they can do it all. They can really, really shoot it. But Parks, I think, is top 5 in scoring. Can really get it going. Marshall, I mean, transferred from Wisconsin. I mean, like he's pretty dang good. But those 2 guards can really put pressure on you offensively, but then defensively. I mean, it's hard to get around those guys. They're so quick and athletic, you know. And then you have Biddle, who just guards anybody, and he just, you know. He's really physical and rugged, and so other than that, they're just okay. They've only lost 1 game since they were 0-2 to start the league, and so what are they? So they're 12-3 right now in league. So they're 12-1 in the last 13. I mean, pretty good.
In some ways, could it be a good thing that you're going into this game now that precedes the tournament that will have some emotion and some extra juice?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, but I get it. It's a rivalry game, so the Dome's probably. I've never been a part of this game. Obviously, I've been a part of rivalry games, so just know how it is. You know, I mean, it's going to be a great atmosphere, and I'm sure there's going to be people standing on their feet. And it's going to be loud and obnoxious, which is great. That's what you want your home court to be like all the time, you know. And so it's going to be awesome that way. They're going to be really ready to go. They'll be locked in because they know they're playing for something, obviously. I don't know. To me, I'm probably a little old school. I think you prepare every game the same way. So, I just have never been locked into, oh, what's their record, and oh, what's this, and oh, we're at home, oh, we're on the, like, let's roll up our sleeves and go to work and compete, and that's the bottom line.